cho tôi nha.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Tran. I don't know if any of you have ever played the game of telephone. It's where you say something into someone's ear and then it goes around a circle of people until it hits the last person. Usually it goes in as something nice, like I hope you have a great day, and it comes out as something like I never loved you. We all know that classic game. Now this is kind of how myths get started. One person tells a story and then it gets all distorted and changed bit by bit as it goes from person to person until it hits a Most Amazing Top 10 list. So today we've got a list that might be a whole bunch of hogwash thrown through a game of telephone, or maybe these myths are real and you should all be afraid. For today's list of top 10 scary Vietnam myths, as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, check out Most Amazing Top 10 on Facebook and Instagram for more content. It's a great way to get to know myself and the other hosts just a little bit better. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. Number 10. America and Vietnam weren't the only ones involved in the Vietnam War. I'm gonna be honest with you guys that I didn't even know this until I had to look it up for this list. I pretty much learned all my history from movies and the History Channel at 3 a.m. But apparently it wasn't just the two countries battling out. The war was split between two forces, the North and South Vietnamese. The North half was communist and backed by the Russians and China, so you can believe that the South Vietnamese were supported by the Americans, but they also had help from the Australians and New Zealand. I didn't even know New Zealand had an army. I thought they were all about stopping all war by throwing the ring into Mount Doom. Maybe they just threw one together for a special occasion. But it's crazy how movies will change everything just to make things a little more entertaining. Next thing you're gonna tell me that Forrest Gump never started a rock band and toured over America with a ukulele. I never saw Forrest Gump. Number 9. Cannibal Granny. So if you live in a small village with no refrigeration, how do you keep your meat from going bad? Well, you dry it like jerky, baby. Jerky is up there with the best versions of meat like chicken wings and pepperoni. It's legendary. Well, apparently there was a small village in Vietnam where one family was having a problem with their hanging meat going missing. So they stayed up late one night to see who was taking their meat, and they saw a sick old grandmother from one of the neighboring houses come into their yard and start eating their meat raw before it even had the chance to become sweet jerky. So the family decided to start hanging their meat elsewhere where the granny couldn't reach it. Then the next night they heard a cry come from their daughter's room. They went in to see what was going on, and they saw the old woman in there who had taken a bite out of their daughter's arm. Blech. Number 8. 727 Tran Hung Dao. 727 Tran Hung Dao was built as a presidential building in the 1960s and was meant to be a massive hotspot for military personnel and world leaders who were visiting. If you were an important person in Vietnam at the time, this is where you would go to get down. It was once home to all American military forces, but apparently that creates bad mojo because now the place is abandoned because there's so many reported ghost sightings. Legend has it that 4 virgin girls were sacrificed and buried at each corner of the building to warn off spirits, and it didn't work. Of course it didn't work. How's a virgin supposed to scare off anybody? What are they gonna be like? You wanna look at my spectral Yu-Gi-Oh collection? We should be sacrificing people who've seen some stuff. I don't want a little nerdy ghost who couldn't get laid protecting me. I want a ghost of a guy who can slap a watermelon to death. Number 7. Ghosts doing some shopping. This story comes from a Vietnamese grocery store. Apparently one day a young girl was walking through what is basically Vietnamese Costco, and she buys some groceries and a washing machine. You know, regular shopping list stuff. She was doing this while she was on her break from work, so she had the stuff delivered to her home. Later that day, a delivery man arrived to the address, but it was not a young woman there. It was an old lady who answered the door. Oh buddy, he got catfished. He asked the old woman at the door if the young girl was there, using the name he had got from the delivery order. The old woman then started bawling because it was the name of her daughter who had just died a few weeks before. Ghosts are always doing the weirdest things. They're possessing people or buying washing machines. They've got completely no chill. Why not just slow down? You literally have eternity. Take some time. Number 6. Tunnel rats. One of the things that made the Vietnam War so crazy was how well the Vietnamese used the terrain. They had a massive system of tunnels that would run through all the underground and up into the mountains. tunnels. Now the Vietnamese troops knew these tunnels very well, but the Americans and the other Allied troops had no idea what was going on down there, so they had to go down and check it out. The troops that were unlucky enough to be tasked with trying to map out these tunnels were called tunnel rats. Now rumor has it that many of these tunnels were booby-trapped, sometimes with shrapnel bombs or grenades, but other times with poisonous snakes. Could you imagine that's your job, to look into an unknown hole and find a snake in there? That's like Elmer Fudd looking underground for Bugs Bunny and then there's just a giant pack of TNT. This is easily one of the worst jobs I've ever heard of, and I should know. I've watched 3 seasons of Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. Number 5, tree ghost. That's right, if you cut down a tree in Vietnam, you better be ready to have the ghost of a tree follow you around for the rest of your life. Well, it's not really the ghost of a tree, it's a ghost that lives inside the tree. The Vietnamese people believe that when a person dies, there's a chance that their spirit will bind to a tree. You don't really get to have a lot of fun as a Vietnamese ghost. It's either hanging around grocery stores or hanging around some foliage. I guess you hope that someone interesting cuts you down so you could be bonded to them and then just get to go into spectator mode on their sick life. If for whatever reason you need to cut down a tree, but you want to do it without some old ghoul leeching off of you for the rest of your days, you can perform a ceremony that will rid the tree of the spirit so you can go back to making pencils. Number 4, London Bridge. No, I'm not talking about the nursery rhyme or the absolute fire track by Fergie. That song is so good that if you listen to it enough times, it will actually teach you how to make huge gains off of stocks. But what I'm actually talking about is the haunted bridge in Vietnam. Apparently in 1988, there was a body washing down a river close to the Co Ren Bridge in Vietnam. Police pulled it out and for whatever reason started doing an autopsy on the body right then and there. This caused a huge crowd to gather on the bridge, which caused the bridge to collapse and a bunch of people drowned. The part of this story that's even crazier than the police chopping open a dude on a public bridge is the rescue workers just watched the people drown. They believed that their souls were being claimed by the river god. Number 3, Tao Dan Park. This park is haunted by the spirit of a young man who is said to be seen at dawn or dusk. See, this ghost is doing it right. Just some beautiful park. Watch the sunset or the sunrise. Take it in, the landscape. Really take the time to appreciate things. Well, there are 2 stories on why this young man is spending eternity outdoors. One is that him and his girlfriend went out for a nice little picnic in the park and some madman came up and murdered him. His girlfriend got away and now he roams the park looking for his missing love. That must suck for the girl too. How many guys are nice enough to take you on a picnic and then when one guy finally does, some other guy comes up and kills him? Number 2, the Hook Man. We all know the old scary story of a dude with a hook who tries to kill people. That urban legend is as old as time, and the Vietnamese have their own version. This one involves a man who would follow young couples on dates and then brutally murder them with a hook. It's said he would use his curved weapon of choice to pull out the eyes and guts from the lovers he killed. Beautiful. I found a few variations on this one as well. One where he was a cannibal and others where he would sneak into people's homes, but there was no sign of him breaking in like he was some sort of ghost. I just don't understand why someone would use a hook as a weapon when you can use a broadsword that gives you +3 to attack and can be wielded with one hand. And number 1, the Batatut, or Batatut, or Butatit, Butat, however you say it. I swear to God that every region on the planet has some version of Bigfoot. Like, I really want to believe that he's real for some reason. I think the next time you send out a crew to take pictures of him, there should be one huge requirement: a high-resolution camera and that you have steady hands. I just want one good picture. That's all. Well, the Batatut, or however you say it, is basically Vietnamese Bigfoot. There were even reports of American soldiers seeing them when they were going through the jungles during the Vietnam War. It's said to be around 6 feet tall with red hair all over. It's literally the ginger Bigfoot, which we all know is one of the darkest omens of them all. Well everyone, that's our list. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any more myths you want me to go over, leave them in the comments below and maybe we'll do another video. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, follow Most Amazing Top 10 on Facebook, Instagram, and all social media. Until next time, I've been Shade Arena, and I'm on my way to find Ginger Bigfoot.